Stop telling people your plans. I'm serious. You know that cycle where you get this amazing idea. You post about it, your friends gas you up, and then, 2 weeks later, you've done absolutely nothing. That's not you being lazy. That's your brain literally sabotaging you, and nobody talks about this. There's a guy named James who spent years stuck in this exact trap, announcing every dream, getting the applause, and watching his life stay completely the same. What finally broke him out of it was a weird lesson from an old neighbor involving 2 seeds. One grew into something real. The other one died on a rock. And the difference between those 2 seeds is probably the reason your goals keep falling apart. Let me explain. Have you ever wondered why your dreams die when you speak them? It's a question that hits a little too close to home, isn't it? It lies at the heart of many great life lesson stories, because we've all been there. You get a brilliant idea, you tell your friends, you post about it, you get the likes, and then silence. Did you notice what happened next? Sometimes, when we speak too much about our desires, they become harder to reach. Let me take you to a quiet town, somewhere you might recognize. There lived a young guy named James. Honestly, his life played out like one of those classic English short stories about ambition and folly. Relatable, but painful. James had big dreams, huge ones. Every week he started something new. One day, he was absolutely convinced he was going to open a flagship store downtown. The next week, he was going to master pottery. Then, suddenly, he was drawing up blueprints to build a house from scratch. But James had a habit, a fatal flaw, really. Before he laid a single brick or threw a single pot, he told everyone in town about his plans. He'd walk down Main Street, practically glowing, and shout, "I'm going to open the biggest business this town has ever seen." People clapped. They smiled. They told him he was going to crush it. And James? He felt proud. He felt important. He got that rush of dopamine as if he'd already succeeded. That night, he slept like a king. But the next morning, when the alarm went off and it was time to actually do the work, he felt heavy, tired. The energy was gone. The thrill had been spent on the announcement, leaving nothing for the execution. Days passed. The coming soon sign never went up. He never opened the store. Then, the cycle reset. James decided to learn pottery. Again, he gathered people in the town square. He spoke loudly about this new passion. "I will make the most beautiful pots. Everyone will buy from me." People praised him. They encouraged him. James felt wonderful again. But just like before, after a few days, the excitement evaporated. He never even touched the clay. This pattern continued for years. James announced every dream. People celebrated his words. But his hands stayed empty. His life stayed the same. He felt ashamed, like a fraud in his own life. He couldn't understand why he always failed when he had so much passion. Deep inside, his heart grew heavy. It was a moment when life hurts, that specific kind of burnout, where you feel like you need a powerful motivational speech just to brush your teeth. But even that wouldn't be enough. He felt completely stuck. One evening, James sat alone on an old bench in the park, watching the sun go down and contemplating his failures. You know how people say that. When someone appears in your dreams, it means your subconscious is trying to tell you something. Well, for James, the guidance didn't wait for sleep. It walked right up to him, in the form of his elderly neighbor, Mr. Bennett. Mr. Bennett was the kind of guy who didn't say much, but when he did, you listened. He was quiet, humble, and deeply respected. He sat beside James and asked gently, "Son, why do you look so troubled?" James let out a long sigh. "I have so many dreams, Mr. Bennett, but I never finish anything. I don't know what's wrong with me." "Mister, Bennett nodded slowly, looking out at the trees. "Tell me, what do you do when you have a new idea?" James answered quickly. "I tell everyone. I want them to know what I'm going to do. I want them to feel proud of me." Mr. Bennett smiled softly, a knowing twinkle in his eye. "Come with me tomorrow morning. I want to show you something." The next day, James met Mr. Bennett in his backyard. The old man held 2 seeds in his hand. He gave one to James. "Plant this seed in the ground," he instructed. James dug a small hole, placed the seed inside, and covered it with soil. Simple. Then Mr. Bennett took the second seed, but instead of planting it, he held it up high. He called over a few neighborhood kids playing nearby. "Look, everyone, I have a seed. Soon, it will become a beautiful tree. Watch how wonderful it will be." The children clapped. They smiled. They were excited. Then Mr. Bennett placed the seed on a flat rock in the sun and just left it there. Days passed. Mr. Bennett watered the seed that was buried deep in the soil. He said nothing about it. He just tended to it. James visited the backyard often, watching. Slowly, miraculously, a tiny green shoot broke through the dirt. Week after week, it grew taller. Mr. Bennett still said nothing. He just watered it, quietly. Meanwhile, the seed on the rock, it stayed exactly the same. It dried out in the scorching sun. Birds pecked at it. The wind blew it around. It never grew roots. It never had a chance. After several weeks, James stood looking at the small, strong plant in the soil. The other seed was long gone. It was one of those moral stories with deep meaning unfolding right in front of him. Mr. Bennett stood beside him and spoke gently. "James, a seed needs silence to grow. It needs darkness. It needs to stay hidden under the earth to build its roots. If you leave it in the open and talk about it, it dries up. It gets stolen. It never becomes a tree." James stared at the plant. Something shifted inside him. It was a realization that turns ordinary days into life-changing stories. Mr. Bennett continued, "When you share your dreams too early, you feel proud. You feel as if you already did the work. People's praise gives you pleasure, a false sense of completion. Your mind thinks the goal is already achieved, so your heart loses the fire to keep going. The energy you need for action gets wasted in words." James felt his face grow warm. He had been doing exactly this every single time. He was addicted to the applause, not the work. He never needed to finish because the announcement made him feel like he already had. Mr. Bennett placed a hand on James's shoulder. "Dreams are fragile at the beginning. They need protection. Keep them quiet. Let them grow in the dark soil of your effort. When the tree is strong, everyone will see it. You don't need to announce it." James thanked Mr. Bennett. He walked home slowly, the silence of the evening feeling different now. Not empty, but full of potential. That night, he made a decision. He would try something new, but this time, he would tell absolutely no one. He chose one simple goal: to build a wooden chair. He didn't post a status update. He didn't gather a crowd. He just started. Every evening, after his daily work, he went to a quiet corner of his garage and worked with wood. Some days, he felt excited. Other days, he felt tired and frustrated. But because no one knew, no one asked him, "Hey, how's that chair coming?" He had no pressure to perform. He only had his hands, the wood, and the work. Days turned into weeks. The chair began to take shape. James made mistakes. He fixed them. He learned. Slowly, the chair became strong and smooth. When it was finally finished, James sat on it. He felt something he had never felt before: real pride. Not the cheap pride that comes from words. The deep, quiet pride that comes from doing. One morning, his neighbor walked by and saw the chair on James's front porch. "James, This is beautiful. When did you make this?" James smiled quietly. "I've been working on it." The neighbor was surprised. "You never told anyone." James nodded. "I wanted to finish it first." Word spread slowly. People saw the chair. They were impressed, genuinely impressed. But by then, James had already started his next project. This time, he planned to build a small table. Again, he told no one. He worked in silence. Weeks passed. The table was completed. Then a shelf. Then a stool. Years went by. James became known in the town not as the guy who talked about doing things, but as a skilled craftsman who did them. People respected him even more because his actions spoke louder than his words ever could. James's life changed completely. He no longer needed praise before starting. He no longer chased the rush of empty validation. He found something deeper, the quiet satisfaction of building something real. Now, think about your own life. How many times have you announced a goal, gotten the likes, and then lost the energy to pursue it? How many dreams have you shared too early, only to watch them fade away? When you speak about your plans, you give away the power. You let others' reactions replace your own effort. Keep your dreams close. Protect them. Let your work speak when it is ready. The world does not need to know what you are building. It only needs to see what you have built. So next time you feel the urge to tell everyone about your big idea, pause. Stay quiet. Let the seed grow in darkness. Remember your dream, and treat this story like a personal motivational video for your soul. When the tree is strong, everyone will see it without you saying a word. And listen, while you're busy building your empire in secret, you don't have to keep Motive Nice a mystery. Go ahead and plant a like on this video. It's the one seed that actually grows faster when you tell your friends about it. Subscribe for more inspirational stories in English, and don't worry, your secrets are safe with us. Thanks for watching.